Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to do another quite interesting beer. This is another one of the kind of beastly Imperial Stouts involving Omnipollo, and this is their collaboration with Trillium Brewing Company from Boston in Massachusetts. It's a brewery a lot of you watching in America have requested I do, but unfortunately you just can't get the beers outside of Massachusetts really. So for this one we're going to have a look at their collaboration beer then. It's called Outside the Lines and it's a 12% Imperial Stout aged on cardamom and vanilla beans. It's rated 94 on Rate Beer overall. It's rated 48 within the style, so that tells you it should be a pretty damn good beer, but it will be kind of quirky. So really looking forward to this one. These Imperial Stouts that Omnipollo are involved in never ever disappoint, so I'm really looking forward to this one and I hope you guys enjoy the review. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the breweries. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery websites, the link to my other reviews from both of these breweries. Hopefully I can add some Trillium ones in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel, and the whole channel uses a geography based tagging system, so you can search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever you're interested in. Just go and check out the homepage. There's also the playlists of beers from different countries. Do check out the interviews, sake reviews, whiskey reviews and all the other things on the channel, and as always please do get in touch and let me know some other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. Always interesting to hear from you guys, and the support of the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you about Omnipollo first of all. So Omnipollo was founded in 2011 by Henok Fenty, a long-time home brewer, and Carl Grandin, who is a clothing designer. And the two met one day and decided to start a brewery together after discussing the kind of relatively insular craft beer scene in Sweden and abroad at the time. So they basically wanted to reinvigorate the craft beer scene in Sweden from both a stylistic and from a gastronomic point of view. So they felt that the partnership between a home brewer and a clothing designer really was kind of very logical. So the name of the brewery is derived from omnipotent chicken, so Omnipollo. Pollo of course Spanish for chicken, and they're gypsy brewers, so they don't have a brewery of their own and rather they rent capacity at other breweries. They brew a lot of their beers at Dugas if I'm not mistaken, so they brew many collaboration beers as a result of this, and they currently export to over 20 different markets and they're continually expanding. Recently they also opened the Omnipollo's Hat in Stockholm, which is a collaboration with Pizza Hut, their other bar, which has become, these have become really quite popular destinations in the city. You can get all the Omnipollo beers usually on tap there, and they've got some pretty damn good pizzas as well. So if you find yourself in Stockholm, that's a place you definitely want to visit. So on to Trillium Brewing Company now. So Trillium Brewing Company opened in March 2013 and it was founded by JC and Esther Tetrault. French name there, I think it's maybe Tetro, but apparently Esther and JC started brewing beers to celebrate their marriage and they enjoyed it, so they decided to go professional. And the brewery were initially based in the Fort Point district of South Boston, but they had only a 10 barrel system, but this site has since been upgraded to a 2,500 BBL capacity, and they've also got a secondary facility now at Canton as of December 2015, which is a 16,000 square feet facility and it brews 35,000 BBL annually. So in 2016 the brewery also began canning their beers as well. I think they were mainly doing 750ml bomber bottles actually, but they say that their biggest challenge over the next few years is to manage their growth because their beers have become really in demand. Apparently this is one of the breweries in America that a lot of people queue for the beers for, and there's a whole thing actually on the website about in the Q&A section, is there any easier times to come at the brewery to get these beers, but apparently there are a lot of queues at the brewery just to get a hold of some of these beers at both sites actually. So if you go to the bottle shops, that's probably the best way to get a hold of some of the Trillium beers. So yeah, they're quite prolific as well. Apparently they've brewed about 200 beers, well over 100 anyway. They've always got about 12 or 15 available at the two sites at any one time. They've got tasting rooms at both sites as well. So if you find yourself in the Boston area, Trillium Brewery is a place that you really do want to go and check out. So yeah, that's enough about both breweries just now. Hopefully I can do some dedicated Trillium videos for you in the near future, but we'll get on and actually try this beer now. Really looking forward to this one. So as you can see with the artwork on this one, it's got that kind of typical Omnipollo style about it, this one. There you can see, I think this is based on one of the other beers that the Omnipollo do. I forget the name of it now, but there you can see Outside the Lines. But I do like this kind of quite simplistic but sort of stylish artwork that you get from Omnipollo there, and there you can see the two brewery symbols. You can see Omnipollo here and Trillium. I think that's maybe a hibiscus flower that they're using. I might be wrong about that one, but this one is brewed, as I said, at Dugas Ale and Porter Brewery in Landvetter in Sweden, but it's brewed on behalf of Omnipollo, Stockholm, Sverige, of course, with Trillium Brewing Company in collaboration. So yeah, this guy, like I said, is a 12% Imperial Stout, and it's brewed with Madagascar bourbon vanilla beans and green cardamom. So yeah, it should be really nice. So we'll get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting then. I'm really looking forward to this one because these stouts never disappoint. So, as you can see, nice smoky opening there as we get this out. I'll just bring up the camera and check that you're seeing this nicely. So you can see a nice bit of smoky opening there, and we'll get it out and into the glass. Not getting so much of a head on this one so far actually. That'll do for us just now, just to check it out. So as you can see, really nice looking beer this one, a kind of ebony rosewood colour, definitely fair to say that, almost pitch black. If I hold it just in front of the light, it does have a tiny wee bit of a ruby edge to it. But overall, really nice looking beer actually. We'll give it a shuggle and see how we get on with it. We'll check out the aroma. But I tell you something, it's got a nice, it's almost coffee beanish character to it. A little bit of vanilla and chocolate without sugaring it up as well. The vanilla is really quite strong in this, but it does smell to me quite like coffee beans. If I was smelling this blind, I have to admit, I would probably guess it's a coffee stout. So let's give this guy a wee suggle and see how we get on then. Yeah, you start to get a bit more earthy hop out of it as you sugar it up. But yeah, some nice, a nice sort of a big vanilla character to this one. There's a lot of roasted brown sugars in there, sort of treacle molasses. It's a darker kind of brown sugar note you're getting from this one rather than a sweet caramel. It is these darker treacle and molasses things going on in this one, but there's a big vanilla note in this guy. A sort of, as I say, you get that sort of smooth coffee bean note as well. Milk chocolate, definitely. It's milk chocolate rather than dark chocolate out of this one, but big in vanilla, big roasted brown sugars, treacle molasses, like I said. A bit of earthy hop coming out of this one as well. You can get that, as I say, when you just let it settle. But really, it's very much leaning towards the malt, so I'm not getting some of the red fruits out of it that you do tend to get from some of these Omnipollo beers, but big vanilla character, sweet, milky chocolate out of this one, a lot of brown sugars, treacle molasses like I said, and a little bit of earthy hop. There's maybe an element of a kind of woody note to this one too, so just pay attention to that. With these Omnipollo beers, they are very complex. I can't speak for Trillium, of course, this is my first time trying one of their beers, but when it comes to these stouts that Omnipollo brew, they're very complex, so you should always take a little bit of time to have a look at the aroma of these before you get stuck in. But yeah, let's have a go with this one now. So this one is outside the lines, a 12% Imperial Stout aged on cardamom and vanilla beans. Let's get stuck into this guy. So my first review from Trillium over in Boston, Massachusetts, and Omnipollo here in Sweden. Skål! Yeah, you know, these Imperial Stouts from Omnipollo, as I say, they never ever disappoint you. You know, this one's a bit different from the other ones I've had because the other ones have all been designed actually to taste like cakes. This one is more like a straight up Imperial Stout, which is quite an interesting kind of change of pace for me when it comes to reviewing Omnipollo beers. So this one's really interesting. There's a lot of complexity to this beer. There's a lot of vanilla in this one. That's really, really nice. So just pay attention to the middle of your palate there. You can pick up a little bit of a kind of coffee bean or sort of roasted malt in this one. That's just kind of underpinning the beer, but that's very smooth. It's almost completely smoothed out by the sweeter aspects of the flavour of this one. You've got a lot of milky chocolate in the middle of your palate there. A big, big vanilla character as well, as you would expect. There's a wee bit of spiciness there that starts to come out more as you move into the aftertaste as well. I'm guessing that's the cardamom. And you can kind of smell it a little bit. It's got this, you can pick that up. Once you taste it, it actually helps you smell it a little bit more actually. You can smell that kind of interesting cardamom aroma coming out of this too. I never really noticed that until I actually tasted the beer. But you can pick up that in the flavour. It's really quite interesting and unusual, this one. So like I say, you've got a big kind of vanilla character to this beer. You have that sweet milky chocolate just going right in and just getting all about the tongue. The whole thing about this is the sweetness. You can feel later on in the aftertaste some of the brown sugars start to come out. You start to get that more kind of roasted, malty character. There's a good bit of kind of woody and nutty character coming out of this beer as well. That's lovely. That really is a very, very nice beer. And as I say, it's a change of pace from the other Omnipollo stouts I've had before, because it is more like a straight up Imperial Stout rather than these kind of almost cakey flavoured ones that they do before. This one is kind of more a sort of classic Imperial Stout, I guess you would say. But it's lovely. That woody and nutty flavour, and the aftertaste, you can feel more of the kind of roasted elements. You feel a little bit of that almost coffee bean flavour, the black malt thing coming out as the flavour progresses. You can feel it at the back sides of your tongue just pushing its way out. Black malt, a little bit of coffee bean, the toasted kind of brown sugars are there as well, but the vanilla sweetness and the big milky chocolate character is in there. It really is lovely actually. And in the back corners of the palate, on the sides, you can feel a little bit of the earthiness from the hop in this one. And as you come, it is very smooth around the front curve of the palate. The earthiness and the hop is just coming out at the back corners of the palate. And like I say, that sort of black malty character, the coffee bean, is mixing very well with that. So that's quite interesting in that regard. If you just go behind the front curve of the palate too, you get this nice oily bubble, and that's where some of these fruity aspects of the beer are coming out. You're getting a little bit of a red fruity ester coming out of this beer too, which is really nice. I'd say it's quite figgy, but there's a little bit of the sharper character, maybe like plums or raisins or something coming out of this one, but it's quite minimal actually. As I say, in the aftertaste, it's the roasted character from the black malts that's sitting there, and there's a bit of the sweet chocolate and the vanilla just lingering there too. A bit of the earthy hop sitting out as well, which is really nice. But overall, once again, the flavour on this beer is very, very solid, and that's exactly what you'd expect from Omnipollo, and by all accounts, it's what you would expect of Trillium as well. So hopefully I can do some dedicated Trillium reviews fairly soon. In terms of the mouthfeel of this beer, this one is full-bodied as you'd expect. It's very, very smooth, big, oily mouthfeel, this one. Carbonation, there is a wee tiny bit of a prickle from it, but not too much. Yeah, you'll feel a little prickle from it at the front of the tongue, but not too much at all. You've got a nice big oily mouthfeel, like I said. There's a lot of sweetness from the malt base, the vanilla and the milky chocolate of course, but then later on that progresses and you get a little bit of bitter character from the roasted elements of the flavour. There's a bit of dryness from the hops at the back corners of the palate, but mainly very smooth as you come forward, and you've got a wee tiny bit of fruity, juicy character from these esters as well. But overall, another really damn awesome beer from Omnipollo and Trillium. As I've said, a lot of you guys watching over in America have requested I do a Trillium beer review, so hopefully I can do these in the future, because I've heard the Trillium beers are pretty damn awesome, and this one, by all accounts, it gives both breweries a very good hearing in my opinion. So yeah, very, very awesome beer. Really cool to try this one from Omnipollo and Trillium Brewing Company. So yeah, really cool. If you like a sort of more classic Imperial Stout and you'd like to see Omnipollo's take on that, I would recommend that you do that. If you like sweet stouts, this is one that's definitely for you, but be aware it is 12%. You do get a little bit of alcohol warmth down here from it, but you know, they're a little bit more expensive, but to have a treat like this every so often is pretty damn good. For me, this is definitely a dessert beer. There's no way you're going to session one of these at all, but it's really damn good, and hopefully I can do some more Omnipollo and Trillium beers for you fairly soon. So yeah, thank you for watching my beer reviews. I hope you've enjoyed it. As always, please let me know your own thoughts on this beer and the breweries in the comment section below. Always interesting to hear from you guys that are watching the videos. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do check out my social media and get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries you guys would like to see me review. Make sure you try some of the Omnipollo and Trillium beers if you haven't already. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you very soon. The Outside the Lines from Omnipollo here in Sweden and Trillium over in Boston, Massachusetts in America. Two very, very good breweries, and these Imperial Stouts that involve Omnipollo are always pretty special. Until the next time, it's Slanger just now, and I'll catch you very, very soon. Cheers.